Damon Vale pointed at Mara Ellison in the Grand Meridian's crowded lobby and said, "Move the linen woman before she embarrasses our guests." No one looked up when the full-figured housekeeper stepped aside. Not Adrian Russo, the man whose people owned half the room. But Mara saw the service cart rolling toward the private elevators. Its seal carried a number that could not exist on a midnight delivery. By dawn, one of Adrian's safest routes would be exposed. A young trainee would be blamed, and the only record tying it together would be in Mara's pocket. The dangerous part was not that Adrian had trusted the wrong man. It was that he had already decided Mara was too ordinary to warn him. At 11:43 that night, Mara Ellison stood beside the service elevator with a clean linen cart between her and a man who had just tried to erase her from the lobby. Damon Vale was still watching the ballroom doors, not her. That was his first mistake. The second was the blue seal tied around the cart's top shelf. Mara knew every seal used on the Grand Meridian's overnight deliveries. Blue meant standard room turnover. Silver meant a VIP suite had been reset under a supervisor's signature. Red meant a contamination hold, which nobody wanted to see after midnight. The seal in front of her was blue, but the number printed on it belonged to a silver batch that had been retired 3 months earlier. She did not touch it. She only looked once, then looked again. "You planning to stand there all night?" Damon asked. His voice was smooth enough for guests and sharp enough for staff. Mara folded the edge of the cart cover back into place. "I'm waiting for the delivery receipt. You're a housekeeper." "That is why I wait for receipts." Damon's mouth tightened. Damon lifted his wrist and checked his watch. "Get the cart upstairs." "Which room?" "The order is in the system. There is no room number on the seal." "Then use the system." Mara met his eyes. The system does not assign a blue seal to the private elevator. For one clean second, the lobby seemed to lose its sound. Then Damon gave a small laugh, the kind meant to make everyone nearby feel foolish for noticing anything. "You're confusing laundry codes with security work." "No," Mara said. "I'm telling you they were designed not to overlap." He stepped closer. He was not a large man, but his job had taught him how to make corridors feel narrow. "Do your shift, Ms. Ellison?" The words sounded polite. They were not. Mara glanced past him. Adrian Russo entered from the west doors with 2 men in dark suits. At 39, he had the calm that made everyone else look restless. The guests knew his name. Mara had seen him after midnight whenever something expensive or dangerous needed deciding behind closed doors. Damon walked toward him before Mara could speak. "A minor service delay," Damon said. Adrian's gaze passed over Mara, the cart, and the elevator panel. It did not stop. "Clear it," he said. That was all. No insult, no raised voice. Just a decision that placed Damon's authority above her warning. Mara felt the familiar sting of it, not because it was new, but because it was so ordinary. The men who ran rooms like this did not need to call her worthless. They simply built every conversation as if she were absent. "Yes, Mr. Russo," she said. She pushed the cart away from the private elevator. Damon watched until she turned the corner. Only then did Mara stop at the service pantry and pull the night ledger from its locked drawer. The book was heavy, bound in black vinyl, and ugly enough that no executive had ever wanted it on a desk. That was why it remained useful. The hotel's digital system held polished reports. The ledger held the truth of what actually moved after midnight. Every cart, every seal, every supervisor's initials. Every room reset requested when nobody was supposed to know a guest had arrived. Mara traced the blue seal number with her finger. Then she found it in the ledger. Not once, 3 times. The same retired silver batch number had appeared on 3 overnight deliveries in the last 11 days. Each delivery had been logged as ordinary linen. Each had gone through the private elevator. And each had occurred less than an hour before Adrian Russo changed hotels, changed cars, or moved a guest under his protection. Mara's breath caught. She did not know where Adrian went after those elevator doors closed. She did not need to. The timing itself was wrong. No VIP suite required fresh linen at 1:10 in the morning, then again at 1:24, unless someone wanted a record of which floor had been used. Behind her, a glass broke in the ballroom. Someone cheered. The hotel kept smiling. Mara closed the ledger and slipped it into the inner pocket of her emerald work coat. Then Lena Ortiz came through the pantry door carrying a stack of towels that nearly blocked her face. Lena was 19, quick with an apology, and in her first month on the overnight team. "Ms. Ellison, Mr. Vale said I should take a delivery to 38. Mara looked at the cart behind her. "Did he give you a receipt?" Lena's eyes dropped. "He said the printer was down." "Did he give you a room number?" "Just the floor." Mara took the towel stack from her hands. "You're not taking anything to 38. "But he said I know what he said." Mara lowered her voice. "Listen to me carefully. If someone sends you through a private elevator without a receipt, you come find me first. You do not argue or sign anything. Do not let them tell you it is normal because they sound confident. Lena swallowed. Am I in trouble? Not if you stay where people can see you. Mara looked toward the ballroom. And not if we get ahead of this. At 12:06 a.m., the linen tracking tablet froze. At 12:08, every service request on the 42nd floor disappeared. At 12:11, the front desk called housekeeping because a guest in the presidential suite had found the wrong monogram on a pillowcase. That should not have been possible. Mara had personally checked that suite at 10. By 12:20, 3 housekeepers were arguing in the service hall, unable to find their digital assignments. By 12:28, a driver assigned to a private departure was sent to the wrong loading entrance. Mara heard the confusion in his voice over the radio. I was told East Garage, he said. The East Garage is sealed, someone answered. Then who changed my route? Mara stood very still. The hotel's systems were not failing at random. Someone was cutting the thin threads that connected rooms, carts, drivers, and doors. Someone who knew nobody would notice the housekeeper until the whole building began to unravel. She set the towel stack down. Lena, go to the staff cafeteria and stay there. Take the west stairs. Do not use your phone if Damon asks where you are. Tell no one you spoke to me. Lena went pale. What are you going to do? Mara pressed her hand over the ledger inside her coat. I'm going to find out why a linen cart knows more about this hotel than the people paid to protect it. The radio went silent for exactly 7 seconds. Then Adrian Russo's voice came through the service channel. Who authorized the East Garage change? No one answered. Mara could hear people breathing into their radios from 3 different floors. She knew that sound. It was the sound of staff waiting for someone important to choose a target. Mr. Russo, she said. The channel went quieter. Mrs. Ellison, Adrian replied. He knew her name now. It should not have mattered. It did. The route change did not begin at the garage, Mara said. It began upstairs. Explain. I can, but not over an open channel. There was a pause. Then Adrian said, service office. 2 minutes. Mara handed Lena the pantry key. Lock yourself in until I come back. What if Mr. Vale asks for me? Tell him you were sent to inventory. By who? Mara looked down the empty hall. By me. Adrian was already there when Mara arrived. On the desk lay a printed map of the hotel's loading entrances. Adrian tapped it once. A driver received an incorrect route. Yes. You believe linen caused it. No. Mara placed the black ledger on the desk. I believe someone used linen to test and record the routes. One of the guards let out a short breath through his nose. That is a big conclusion from a laundry book. Mara turned to him. It is not a laundry book. It is a delivery record. Every floor that receives restricted service uses it because the digital system does not show a person what happened after a request is changed. Adrian's eyes moved from her face to the book. Show me. Mara opened it to the marked page. This number belongs to a silver seal batch. She pointed to the blue tie on the cart tag she had slipped into her pocket. Silver seals are used only when a VIP room is reset after a supervisor verifies the occupant has cleared the floor. Blue seals are routine. They are never sent through private elevators. The guard folded his arms. A clerk could have grabbed the wrong roll. Once, maybe. Mara turned 3 pages. Not 3 times. She read the times aloud. 1:10 a.m. on the 6th, 1:24 a.m. on the 10th, and 12:58 a.m. yesterday. Each delivery passed through Elevator C as routine service shortly before a protected guest or Mr. Russo changed location. Adrian did not interrupt. Mara looked at him. A housekeeping error leaves a dirty room. This leaves a map. The room held still. Adrian reached for the ledger, then stopped before touching it. Who had access to these entries? Every overnight supervisor can sign a delivery. That is not what I asked. Mara understood the difference. The person who created the request needed access to the private floor schedule, service elevator clearance, and the cart dispatch queue. The guard said, security can access all 3. So can executive operations. And housekeeping can see a cart. We cannot clear an elevator or change a protected room schedule. Adrian looked toward the monitor. Can you identify the person? Not from this alone. Then why bring it to me? Mara closed the ledger. Whoever did this is still working tonight. And they seem very interested in your meeting at 10 in the morning. What do you need? He asked. Access to the original dispatch queue. Not the reports your staff print after the fact. That system is restricted. Then keep guessing. The guard shifted. Adrian's mouth almost moved, not a smile. Something closer to surprise. You are comfortable giving orders tonight. I am comfortable preventing my team from being blamed for work they did not do. He nodded once. You will have 30 minutes. You will be accompanied. You will not copy anything. You will tell no one where you are going. Fine. And Miss Ellison. Mara paused at the door. If this is wrong, you understand what you are accusing. Yes. Do you? The question landed harder than he intended. Mara looked back at him. I understand what happens when powerful people decide the easiest person is the guilty one. She left before he could answer. Ellis stood beside her in the security control room as she faced 6 screens and a console full of moving floor plans. You get 30 minutes, he said. I heard him. You always speak to men like that? Only when they speak to me first. Mara sat at the console. Mara searched the dates. The 3 linen requests appeared, but their original room numbers had been scrubbed. Can this show a revision history, she asked. Not for you. Can it show a routing history? Ellis leaned over her shoulder. Why? A person can erase a room number. They cannot make a cart cross a closed floor without asking a door to open. Ellis pointed to a small icon. That shows elevator clearance. Mara opened the first request. The system displayed 2 approvals. The first came from a housekeeping supervisor whose shift had ended an hour earlier. The second came from security override. The name field was blank. Who can approve an override without leaving a name? She asked. Ellis did not answer. Mara looked at him. Who? The security director, Damon Vale. Ellis's face changed, not agreement, fear. Mara opened the second request, the same blank override, then the third, again. On the 4th screen, an alert appeared. Private Elevator C requested. The request had been filed 30 seconds earlier. Mara's hands went cold. That is happening now, she said. Ellis reached for his radio. Hold it, Mara said. If Vale sees us stop it, he will know what we found. If we do not stop it, someone walks away with another route. Then we change the route. Ellis stared at her. Mara was already scanning the screen. Do you have an empty service corridor on 38? Why? If he expects the cart to go north, we send it south. We do not touch his request. We make him watch the wrong answer arrive. Ellis hesitated. Mr. Russo did not authorize a trap. Then call him. Ellis lifted the radio. Before he could speak, the control room door opened. Damon Vale stood there with no expression at all. His gaze went first to Ellis, then to the open dispatch screen, then to Mara. Miss Ellison, he said, you seem very far from your linen closet. Mara did not stand, and you seem very interested in where my carts go. Mara kept one hand on the console. I asked you a question, Damon said. So did I, Mara replied. You are in a restricted room. Mr. Russo granted access. Mr. Russo grants access to many things without understanding the burden he creates for everyone else. That sounds like something a person says when he is worried about being understood. Housekeeping records do not belong in security investigations. Then security should stop using housekeeping records to move people through this building. The control room door opened again. Adrian stepped inside alone. What is the situation? He said. Damon answered first. Your housekeeper is disrupting an active security response with a theory based on linen tags. Adrian looked at Mara. Is that accurate? No, she said. His security override is blank on 3 altered deliveries, and a 4th request was filed 30 seconds ago. I asked Ellis to call you before we changed it. Adrian turned to Ellis. Changed what? Mara answered. The cart route. You do not have proof that cart is part of the leak. I have enough proof to know it should not reach the elevator it requested. Damon gave a quiet, disbelieving laugh. This is reckless. Mara faced Adrian. If I am wrong, the cart reaches an empty service corridor and nobody loses anything. If I am right, whoever receives the route learns that the information is no longer clean. Either way, Lena does not become the person you blame because the reports look convenient. Adrian's gaze sharpened. Lena Ortiz. A trainee Mr. Vale ordered toward the private elevator without a receipt. Damon's expression did not change. She was completing a basic task. Then put your name on the dispatch record, Mara said. The silence that followed was not empty. It had weight. Adrian walked to the console. Ellis. Redirect the cart to 38 South. Lock every other service passage on that floor for 5 minutes. No one approaches the cart unless Ms. Ellison approves it. Damon turned toward him. Adrian. 5 minutes, Adrian repeated. His voice stayed low. That made it harder to argue with. The camera is down, she said. Ellis checked the panel. It was marked down at 11:50. Mara looked at Damon. Was it? Security equipment fails, Damon said. At the exact moment a false linen delivery is requested? You are beginning to sound desperate. No, Mara said. I am beginning to sound specific. Adrian's eyes moved to Damon. Restore the camera. It needs a technician. Then bring one. Then he left. The cart reached 38 South at 12:44. On the screen its blue seal flashed under the corridor scanner. Then a second signal appeared at the north service door. Someone had used a master credential to open it. Ellis leaned closer. That door should be locked. It is, Mara said. Someone is checking whether the cart went where it was supposed to go. Can we see who opened the door? He asked. Not while the camera is down, Ellis said. Mara pointed to the console. The door log will show a credential. Ellis opened it. The screen loaded for 3 seconds, then replaced the name with a string of asterisks. Administrative privacy lock, he said. Who can use that? Adrian asked. Ellis did not look at Damon's empty doorway. He did not have to. The security director, he said. Adrian's jaw tightened. Before anyone spoke, the radio crackled. Control, this is housekeeping on 38. Mara recognized Lena's voice. It was shaking. I found the cart, but I don't know why I'm here. Mara's stomach dropped. Lena, step away from it, she said. I didn't bring it, Lena said. Mr. Vale told me to come upstairs and check the seal. Adrian took the radio from the console. Lena, stay where you are. No one touches the cart. Ellis is coming to you, Mr. Russo. You are not in trouble. Ellis, go. What about the corridor? Go. Ellis left at a run. The monitor showed the cart under dim service lights. The blue seal was gone. In its place was a red contamination tie. Mara stepped closer to the screen. That is not the same cart. Adrian turned. What changed? The wheels. The wheels? Overnight carts have black rubber casters because they do not mark the marble floors. That cart has gray casters from day service. Someone swapped it after Lena arrived. Adrian looked from the screen to Mara. You can tell that from a camera feed? I can tell because I ordered the replacements. Call the floor supervisor, Adrian said. No, Mara said, not yet. He looked at her. Explain. If Damon thinks Lena is alone, he will finish building his version before he learns we are watching. And what do you want to do? Mara opened the dispatch history again. We let him commit to it. That puts Lena at risk. Lena is already at risk. I will not use a child as bait. She is 19 and she is not bait. Mara turned fully toward him. She is the person your system is preparing to sacrifice because every person in this room keeps treating the next mistake as a separate problem. Adrian absorbed that without moving. Mara regretted none of it. Put Ellis with her, she said. Keep the hallway open. Do not announce an investigation. If Damon has a second cart, he will try to close the first story before the ballroom meeting. Adrian looked at the red tie on the monitor. Then he nodded. Do it your way. It was not an apology. It was the first time he had placed the decision in her hands. Mara turned back to the console. Ellis, stay with Lena and tell her no one questions her without me present. Understood, Ellis answered. Adrian moved to the second screen. What are we looking for? The place Damon had to go after he changed the cart. You know that? He knows my ledger can show the delivery. He will want the physical roll of retired seals before I find it. Where are they kept? Basement textile storage. Can he reach it? Not without a key. Who has one? Mara looked at him. I do. The silence returned. This time, Adrian did not use it to dismiss her. He held out his hand, palm up, asking rather than taking. May I see the key? Mara considered him. Then she placed the brass key on his palm. He closed his fingers around it. We go together, he said. No, Mara replied. I know the storage rooms, and you will be recognized the moment you step inside. You are not going alone. I am not asking permission. Adrian looked at her for a long moment. Then he returned the key to her hand. Then tell me where to stand. Mara led Adrian through the service stairs to the textile storage room behind the laundry plant. Third door on the left, Mara said. Do not touch the light switch. She unlocked the third door and pushed it open with her shoulder. The retired seals are in the back. The plastic bin that should have held the silver seal roll was open. Its inventory card was on the floor. The roll itself was gone. Adrian looked at the empty bin. We are late. No, Mara said. He is early. She crouched and picked up the inventory card. Mara turned the card over. The back was marked with a narrow crescent of blue ink. She held it under the storage light. This is from the service printer on 38. The unfinished floor. Yes, Damon left this. Damon does not leave things by accident. Then why leave it? Because he expects the person following him to understand only half of it. The blue ink only appears when a dispatch order is printed after the system has been manually rerouted. She folded the card into her palm. The missing seals were not his proof. They were his supply. Then what is the proof? The route history behind the reroutes. We have that. We have blank overrides. Mara looked toward the door. We need the original service receipt that was printed before the room numbers were erased. Adrian's expression changed. Where would he keep it? Somewhere he can reach before 10. Somewhere nobody thinks to search because the room is supposed to be empty. 38. No. Mara shook her head. 38 was the test. The real record will be in the ballroom service corridor. Why there? Because the ballroom is where he needs the lie to survive. Adrian's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen, then handed it to Mara. The message was from a Boston number. Nora Bell, the owner of the boutique hotel group she had interviewed with months ago, had sent a contract offer. Operations manager. Start date next Monday. Housing allowance. A train ticket reserved for 6:20 a.m. The number on the screen seemed unreal. Good news? Adrian asked. It is none of your business. Fair. Mara put the phone back in his hand. He did not read the message. That surprised her. I have a job offer in Boston, she said. Then it is your business. And you are telling me because? Because I need to tell someone who does not decide whether I am useful before answering. Adrian lowered his eyes for 1 second. I did that. Mara waited. He did not defend himself. I let Damon define the room, Adrian said. I watched him dismiss you. And I treated the inconvenience as smaller than the meeting I had scheduled. That was not an accident. No, it was a choice. Yes, the word came without decoration. It mattered more than an excuse would have. You should take the job if you want it, Adrian said. I will not ask you to stay because this building failed to see you. Mara looked at him. You still need me. Tonight I do. And after tonight? After tonight I need the system to answer to someone who notices what it has been trained to ignore. The radio on his belt clicked. Ellis spoke first. Mr. Russo, Lena has been taken to the staff office. Mara's body went rigid. By who? Adrian asked. The floor supervisor. She says Lena signed a contamination incident report. She what? Mara said. Damon's report says Lena brought an unauthorized cart onto 38 and removed the original seal. Mara closed her eyes. There it was. The story Damon had been building while everyone else argued about systems. Is Lena alone? Mara asked. No, Ellis said. I am outside the office. Then stay outside. The supervisor says she has to finish the statement. She does not sign another page, Mara said. Not until I get there. Adrian took the radio. Ellis, no one speaks to Lena without Miss Ellison present. Understood. Mara turned for the door. Adrian caught her sleeve with 2 fingers, then released it at once. Wait, she faced him. Do not touch me if you want me to wait. His hand fell to his side. You are right. What? Your train leaves at 6:20. You read the message? You told me the time was there. Mara almost corrected him. She had not. But he had glanced at the screen only long enough to see what he should not have seen, and he knew it. I will have a car take you to the station when you are ready, he said. No escort. No condition. No one follows you. Mara's anger softened by a degree, not because the offer was impressive, because it was real. He was giving her a way out before asking anything else of her. And Lena? She asked. I will make sure she has counsel. That is not enough. Tell me what is. She needs the truth before she needs a lawyer. Adrian nodded. Then we find it. They reached the staff office as Lena's supervisor opened the door. Her eyes found Mara first. I didn't sign it, she said. The supervisor lifted a palm. This is an internal matter. Then you should be worried that the internal record has a lie in it, Mara said. Mr. Vale explained the situation. Of course he did. Adrian stepped forward. No one questions her again tonight. The supervisor looked at him. Mr. Russo, this is a protocol issue. Then follow this protocol. His voice was calm. Miss Ortiz leaves with Miss Ellison. Mara took the unsigned paper, folded it once, and put it in her coat pocket. Why keep it? Lena whispered as they moved into the hall. Because he wrote down the time he wanted you to remember, Mara said. And because people who lie on paper always think the paper belongs to them. At 3:40 a.m., Mara sat in the staff cafeteria with Lena sleeping in the first aid room under Ellis's watch. Adrian had left the train ticket on the table without a note. Mara stared at it until the numbers blurred. Boston meant a clean start. She could walk away with a job, a room, and proof that nobody owned her next choice. Then she opened the folded incident report. The time printed at the top was 12:46 a.m., 2 minutes after the false cart reached 38 South. The supervisor's statement claimed Lena had removed a red contamination tie at 12:49, but Mara had seen the blue seal on the monitor at 12:44. The red tie did not appear until after Ellis had arrived. Someone had printed the report before the story had finished happening. Mara looked at the ticket one last time. Then she stood. She did not choose the Grand Meridian. She chose Lena. And she chose the truth that Damon had been careless enough to put in writing. At 9:47 a.m., Mara entered the Russo Alliance meeting with the ledger, the unsigned incident report, and the sealed service receipt. Adrian set the ledger at the center of the operations table. That seat is yours, he said. Mara sat. This is highly irregular, he said. It is, Mara replied. So was using a linen cart to sell private routes. Adrian lifted one hand. Miss Ellison will speak. Mara placed the blue-stained inventory card beside the ledger. At this hotel, a routine linen cart carries a blue seal. A private suite reset carries silver. The two systems are kept separate because the service record becomes a map if they are ever mixed. Damon smiled without warmth. That is an imaginative theory. No, Mara said. It is a procedure you counted on nobody else understanding. She opened the ledger to the 3 marked entries. These silver batch numbers were tied with blue seals on 3 separate nights. Each cart was logged as routine service. Each cart passed through elevator C shortly before Mr. Russo changed hotels, changed vehicles, or moved a protected guest. The person needed access to private schedules, security overrides, and service dispatch, Mara said. Housekeeping has none of those powers. Damon's voice remained even. A blank override proves nothing. It proves the override was made by the only person whose identity could be concealed in the system, Mara said. She held up the incident report. This report was printed at 12:46 a.m. It says Lena Ortiz removed a red contamination seal at 12:49. But the monitoring feed shows the cart still had its blue seal at 12:44. The red seal appeared only after Mr. Vale sent Lena to the floor. Mara turned the report around so the timestamp faced the table. That is not a mistake. That is preparation. Damon's smile disappeared. You have no proof I printed that report. No, Mara said. I have proof you needed it printed before anyone could compare it with the cart log. She reached for the clear sleeve. And I have the receipt you thought you destroyed. The receipt listed a routine linen request. But beneath the printed maintenance code was a partial routing string from the private elevator system. It matched the 3 ledger entries. It also contained the same administrative override used at 12:43 a.m. The receipt does not show a name, Damon said. It does not need to, Mara replied. It shows a route that cannot exist without your override. It was printed from your service corridor. And the false report was created before the red seal existed. You used my work to build a signal system, then used Lena to hide the failure when I noticed it. Damon looked toward Adrian. You are allowing a housekeeper to accuse your security director on the strength of an internal service log. Adrian did not move. No, he said. I am allowing the person who understands this system to explain the record you used to protect yourself. Damon's voice hardened. You are making a mistake. I made one last night, Adrian said. I will not make it twice. Damon reached for the receipt. Mara placed her hand over it first. You do not touch evidence you tried to bury. He froze. Then he stood. This is absurd. Then you will have no objection to an independent audit, Mara said. Adrian nodded to Ellis, who stepped forward with a sealed tablet and the preserved server logs. Your access is suspended, Adrian said. The audit team will review the records and refer any unlawful conduct to the proper authorities. Damon looked back at Mara. You think this makes you important? Mara stood. No, it proves I was important before you noticed. Lena entered with Ellis at her side. The supervisor apologized for accepting a report without checking it. Adrian addressed the table. The meeting will proceed after a security reset, but the hotel will not return to the system it had at midnight. He placed a folder in front of Mara. This is a proposal. Read it when you choose. Mara opened it anyway. The first page named her Director of Independent Operations Review for every Russo property. The role carried authority to inspect service and security workflows, suspend high-risk routes, select her own night shift audit team, and report directly to the Alliance Board. No one could alter the position without a board vote that included her own. This says I can leave at any time. Yes, Adrian said. It says you cannot assign security to me without my written consent. Yes. It says I choose my staff. Yes. And if I take Boston? Then I wish you well, Adrian said. The decision is hers. At 6:05 that evening, Mara stood on the train platform with a single suitcase beside her. The Boston ticket was in her pocket. The role proposal was in her bag. Lena had gone home with a paid week off and an offer to join whatever team Mara eventually chose. The Grand Meridian lights shone beyond the tracks. Adrian arrived without guards. He stopped several feet away. Your train is on time, he said. That is rare for Chicago. You came to check? No, he looked at the suitcase. I came to say you do not owe me an answer. Mara studied him. You used to talk like every room belonged to you. I was wrong. You were quiet while someone else did it for you. I was wrong about that too. The train announcement echoed overhead. Mara looked down the track. I am not moving into your life because you made a good offer. I would not ask you to. I am not your employee in private. You will not be. And if I stay, I set the rules. Then set them. Mara took the Boston ticket from her pocket. She did not tear it. She folded it and returned it to her coat. I will take the job. Adrian's face did not change. He waited. The job at the Grand Meridian, Mara said. For 1 year. I will build the audit team. Lena gets a seat on it when she is ready. I keep my own apartment. And if we have dinner, it is because I said yes to dinner. Adrian nodded. All of that is yours to decide. Mara stepped closer by 1 pace. Then you may ask. His gaze stayed on hers. May I take you to dinner tomorrow night? You may? And Mara? Yes? Thank you for not letting us remain the people we were. The train pulled in behind them. Mara did not board it. She did not throw the ticket away either. She kept it as proof that staying had been her decision. If you were Mara, would you have taken the train to Boston or stayed only after the power to leave was guaranteed?